9-year-old boy's heartwarming call to a billionaire reveals an unexpected, life-changing twist. In the heart of a small, struggling rural town, hope often felt like a flickering candle in a storm. But 9-year-old Ethan was about to change that. A project in school one that sparked his imagination led him to pick up the phone and call a billionaire philanthropist known for transforming underfunded schools. He poured his heart into that call, sharing his dreams of a playground where laughter echoed, kids from different grades united, and light broke through their shadows. Little did he know, that fateful call would reveal not just dreams but the burdens his family carried. Ethan sat in the back booth of the diner where his parents worked. The worn vinyl seats held countless stories of weary faces, yet it was the laughter and chatter that truly made it feel alive. His dad, a tall man with tired eyes, wrestled daily with memories he couldn't escape. His mother, soft-spoken yet fierce, darted between tables, keeping the diner's heart beating. They never told him outright how heavy their burdens were, but Ethan could see it in their strained smiles and weariness. It made his chest ache. When the idea for the playground emerged in class, a simple concept, yet monumental in his young mind, Ethan felt a firelight inside him. He pictured swings that squeaked with joy, slides that whistled laughter, and open spaces where kids could run free. But as he shared his vision over the phone, he found himself revealing more than just hopes for the future. He suddenly spoke of their struggles, the long nights, the heavy silence that filled their home, and the worry that gnawed at them. He could almost hear the billionaire's breath catch as he listened, intrigued yet kind-hearted. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach seriously. It makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The billionaire's decision to visit the town sparked hope, like the sun after a dark storm. But it also opened old wounds. Whispers filled the diner, resentment and doubt hanging thick in the air. "What does he know about us?" muttered Mr. Hargrove, a local farmer, his voice dripping with skepticism. Ethan's heart sank. Yet, he didn't want to give up. He organized a fundraiser, believing in the power of unity and the resilience of his town. Then, just as excitement began to build, Ethan discovered something shocking. The billionaire's past was tied to this very town, a history marred by hardship and confronting struggles that mirrored those of the townsfolk. Feelings of betrayal and uncertainty seeped through the community, threatening to drive a wedge that Ethan never intended to forge. He found himself standing at the crossroads of hope and despair. Standing tall, a young boy in the midst of a sea of divided emotions, silence enveloped the diner for a heartbeat. Ethan raised his voice. "We've all struggled. But we can choose to come together, can't we?" The energy crackled around him, a defining moment teetering on the edge of transformation or turmoil. Would they embrace a shared understanding of their hardships, or would fear drive them apart, leaving Ethan's dreams adrift in a storm of doubt? The answer lingered in the air, heavy with promise and dread, as the light in Ethan's eyes flickered defiantly against the shadows of uncertainty. Ethan's heart raced as he surveyed the diner, the faces of his friends and neighbors flickering between hope and doubt. It was a fragile moment, the kind that could easily tip one way or the other. Whispers faded into silence, and he felt every pair of eyes drilling into him, waiting for something. "We can be stronger together," he insisted, his small voice lifting despite the weight of the room. "If we let the past hold us back, we're letting it win. This isn't just about a playground. It's about us finding our way forward." Ethan's soft faces softened. He spotted Mrs. Fields, the third-grade teacher, nodding slightly, her eyes glimmering like the first stars appearing at dusk. Maybe, just maybe, they could see the vision he had. It wasn't merely a swing set or a slide. It was a lifeline, a beacon of joy not just for him, but for everyone who felt trapped in the scars of their past. Slowly, Mr. Hargrove spoke again, his voice much softer, tinged with growl. You think a billionaire can just waltz in and fix things? His skepticism was palpable, but Ethan could hear a hint of questioning, an echo of uncertainty beneath the tough exterior. Ethan swallowed hard. I believe if we let him see what we're capable of, he'll want to help. Together, we can show him we're worth it. We can rebuild more than a playground. We can rebuild trust, friendships, a community. The room was still, but it was a different kind of stillness. A few people exchanged glances, and Ethan caught the flame of possibility igniting. A kid's dream wasn't just naive. Maybe it held the spark they needed to bridge the chasm that had grown over the years. Outside, the sun began to dip low on the horizon, painting the diner's windows golden. In that moment, Ethan felt a surge of determination. He turned to the group again, pouring all of his hope and despair into his plea. Let us put this fundraiser together. Let us show everyone what we can achieve when we don't look back. With that, whispers turned into conversations, feet shuffled, and hands began to raise. A wave of momentum spread through the diner, and before long, people were brainstorming ideas, their laughter mixing with Ethan's little, fervent shouts of encouragement. It felt like magic, the kind only children could summon when fueled by a fierce belief that things could change. But even as excitement crackled in the air, a knot of worry twisted in Ethan's stomach. What if they succeeded in pulling this off, only to be met with even more skepticism? What if the billionaire saw the pain, but didn't know how to help? Or what if he held onto his past grudges, refusing to acknowledge the strength of the community they were trying to build? As the night unfolded, a plan began to take shape. Unfortunately, with every ounce of hope came the shadow of fear, a reminder that success was not guaranteed. Ethan clutched at the paper in front of him, scrawled with names and ideas, feeling the weight of their dreams resting heavily in his small hands. Just then, the door swung open, and in stepped a figure tall and unmistakable, a warmth about him that instantly changed the atmosphere, a feeling of approachability even amid uncertainty. Ethan's breath caught. The billionaire had arrived. What would he say? Would he see the power of their dreams, tangled and beautiful? Or would he turn away, judging them before they even had a chance? As the chatter quieted and all eyes turned to the door, Ethan's heart hammered in his chest. This was it, the moment that could define their future. And as the billionaire paused, surveying the room filled with faces both familiar and wary, Ethan felt hope and anxiety entwined like wildflowers struggling to bloom in rocky soil. What would happen next? Nothing could be certain, but one thing remained. Everything was about to change. The billionaire stepped inside, his presence commanding yet not intimidating. He had a strong face, framed by tousled hair and a fitted blazer that suggested both sophistication and ease. The diner, which just moments ago felt charged with anticipation, now pulsed with an electric tension, each heartbeat amplifying the weight of expectations hanging in the air. Ethan swallowed hard, his pulse quickening as the billionaire's gaze fell upon him. Was it possible he could change everything with a mere word? If only he could muster the courage to speak the hopes that lived inside him, feeling the air thicken with the dreams of an entire community hanging on a thread. Hello, everyone, the billionaire said, his voice warm and smooth. I heard there was a need for help. I must admit I wasn't too sure what to expect, but this is, wow. He took a moment, letting his eyes roam over the diverse faces before him, eyes brimming with a cautious optimism that gave Ethan a flicker of hope. The chatter slowly faded into silence, and Ethan felt all eyes shift back to him. This was at the moment he had imagined ever since he had first thought about asking the billionaire for help. He took a deep breath, stepping out from behind the table where he had been sitting. We're looking to rebuild our playground, he began, his voice trembling but steady. It's not just a place for swings and slides. It's a place where kids can feel safe and happy, where families can come together. But we can't do it alone. The billionaire listened intently, nodding as Ethan's words wove through the air. Ethan could feel the warmth of 100 expressions, a mix of hope and fear flooding back at him. We've been through a lot, but we want to show you how much this means to us. We believe that if we work together, we can not just build a playground, but something even bigger, a community. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Mrs. Fields clutched her hands together, visibly moved. Several heads bobbed in agreement. Could this stranger truly understand the pain they had all felt? The billionaire's brow furrowed slightly, and Ethan could see the gears turning in his mind. But then he smiled that was genuine and bright, like the sun breaking through after a storm. You're right, Ethan. It's not just about money or a playground. It's about community. And that's what I'm interested in. Ethan's heart surged. Maybe for the first time, the dream of a safe space, where joy thrived amid the shadows of their past, could become a reality. The billionaire continued. Tell me more about your ideas. What do you need? Ethan blinked, feeling as if he stood on the edge of a remarkable cliff, teetering between fear of the fall and exhilaration at the possibilities below. We'll need help organizing the fundraiser. And just then, a loud crash interrupted him. The doors swung open wider, and in stumbled Mr. Hargrove, looking flustered. Sorry. I had to, help with the deliveries. What did I miss? Ethan felt the immediate tension in the room shift again. People started to chuckle, loosening the heaviness that had enveloped them. The billionaire laughed, a deep, resonant sound that filled the diner. Looks like my timing was just off. As laughter spread, Ethan couldn't help but join in. Maybe, just maybe, everything was coming together after all. It was a hint of what they could become if they joined forces, if they dared to dream big. But then, as the laughter died down, Ethan's brow furrowed again. They needed more than just words. They needed action. Would the billionaire stay? Would they have the courage to rise from the ashes of the past? And as he looked around at the faces of those he had grown up with, he felt another wave of fear swell within him. What if they failed to convince him? Darkness lurked in the corners of their dreams, waiting for one too many missteps. The air shifted once more when the billionaire leaned forward, resolving the weight of tension. Ethan, if you lead this effort, I promise I'll stand with you. The words offered a flicker of hope, but could this journey really change everything for them? Ethan stood tall, emboldened by the challenge to come. What would it take to unite a community divided by their past? With his heart pounding, he answered softly, together. Could that simple word pave the way for transformation, or would the fears still hold them back? All eyes were on him, as the echoes of the past lingered and the potential for a brighter future danced just out of reach. Ethan's heart raced, and he could feel the energy in the room shift dramatically, like the calm before a storm. The faces in the diner, unfamiliar and familiar all at once, held a mix of hope and expectations. What if he stumbled now? What if he couldn't rally them? The billionaire straightened in his seat, his gaze never wavering from Ethan's. Let us figure this out together. What do you need from me? Organizing the fundraiser is crucial, Ethan said, his voice gaining confidence. We'll need a venue, volunteers, maybe even some local businesses to chip in, and most importantly, we need people to believe in this project. Absolutely, the billionaire replied. His enthusiasm was contagious. But it starts with you. You need to get the community excited. Make them see what they could do if they came together. Ethan nodded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. This was bigger than him now. This was about the children who played in the shadows of fear and uncertainty. It was about Mrs. Fields, her hands clenched tight at the table, and David, the boy who once felt invisible but longed to race through a safe space. Just as the conversation started to flow, a small voice piped up from the back. It was Mia, a quiet girl who often sat alone on the swings. But what if they don't care? What if they've given up? At her words, a hush fell over the room. Ethan felt as if the air had thickened again. Despair wrapped around him like a heavy blanket. He wanted to ease her worries, but wasn't sure how. Ethan turned toward her and found her eyes wide with uncertainty. Mia, we're going to show them how much it matters, he said, his voice steadier than he felt. This playground won't just be a place to play. It's going to be a legacy, a testament to who we can become. People do care, Mia, the billionaire spoke up, his voice calm and sure. Sometimes it just takes one person to spark that fire. And if you believe in it, others will too. Ethan felt a flicker of determination. If the billionaire believed in them, then maybe they could believe too. We've all been through tough times, and we can use that pain to fuel our passion. I want to use my voice, but I need your help. Every single one of you is important, he said, scanning the crowd, locking eyes with those who shared his vision. The room began to fill with murmurs of agreement. Ethan could see the shifting tides of belief. A dawning realization washed over him, followed by a swell of energy that he couldn't quite contain. This was his moment. What do you say? Let us show everyone that we can transform this community. Let us roll up our sleeves and put our hearts into this, he declared, his voice rising to a crescendo as if he were rallying an army. People began to nod and open up, the energy in the room crackling with newfound excitement. Mrs. Fields was the first to stand. I'm in. We'll do whatever it takes. A chorus of voices joined in, all pledging to help, to believe. Hope grew like a flame, catching on kindling, and suddenly they were all part of something much bigger than themselves. As the meeting progressed, Ethan felt a wave of exhilaration wash over him. Ideas bounced around like basketballs on a court, laughter and enthusiasm suddenly filling the diner. They discussed bake sales, local businesses' donations, and even a neighborhood block party. Yet, behind the excitement lay a nagging worry. What if it wasn't enough? What if this community they were trying to save wasn't ready to take the leap? Amidst these swirling thoughts, the billionaire caught Ethan's eye. Remember, every great change starts with a spark. Let today be the first spark. Ethan's heart pounded as he realized this was just the beginning. They had a long way to go, and facing the realities ahead wouldn't be easy. But as the crowd's morale surged, he saw their smiles, felt their determination, and knew deep down that they could embrace this challenge together. Maybe there was hope after all, but what would happen when they faced their first obstacle? Would they crumble, or would they stand tall? The following days felt like a whirlwind. Ethan woke up each morning with a flash of excitement, followed by the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. The diner had sparked something, a flicker of hope, and he knew they had to keep that fire alive. Word had spread about the meeting. It was astonishing to see the community rallying behind them. Volunteers flooded in, eager to help organize the event. Local businesses were stepping up, offering everything from food donations to venue spaces. Ethan walked through town, feeling the weight of anticipation and anxiety and sensing that excitement was building. One afternoon, Ethan found himself at the local park where Mia often played. She perched on one of the swings, watching the other kids run and laugh. While her face mirrored the joy on their faces, Ethan could see the tinge of fear still lingering in her eyes. Mia, he said, his voice warm, how are you feeling about everything? She shrugged, her bare feet brushing the ground. I don't know. I want to believe in it, but what if people don't come? What if it's just a dream? Ethan took a seat next to her, the metal frame creaking beneath their weight. You know what? Every big dream starts with just a handful of people who believe in it. I think we can be those people. But what if... She hesitated. What if they see it as a waste of time? Beneath her doubts lay a deep-seated fear that echoed through the lives of many in their community. Ethan let her words hang in the air for a moment, feeling the weight of her uncertainty. Let us give them something to believe in, he replied softly. Let us show them who we are and what we can become. That evening, as darkness swept over the town, Ethan gathered his team at Mrs. Fields' house. The smell of freshly baked cookies filled the air, mixing with the nervous energy crackling between them. They spread out charts and papers, each idea bouncing around like fireworks in the night sky. Block party ideas, bake sales, and maybe a dunk tank? Someone suggested, laughter bubbling around the table. Let us top it off with a talent show. Mrs. Fields chimed in, her eyes gleaming. The kids will get a chance to shine. Ethan could feel the excitement rising. They were doing it. They were pulling together every ounce of creativity and heart they could muster. Yet, the deeper their plans grew, an unshakable thought lingered the fear of failure. But it has to be special, he said, his voice trailing off. Why don't we invite everyone to share their stories? Mia's voice broke through the chatter. If they feel what we feel, it will matter more. Ethan smiled at her. That was it. Yes. Stories will connect us. We'll all come together as a community. As the team rallied behind this new idea, the sound of laughter echoed off the walls, filling the room with a warmth that made Ethan's heart swell. But just as they began planning the launch to promote their big day, the message popped up. An article in the local paper hinted at skepticism. Some views claimed their efforts were futile, a mere drop in the ocean. Ethan's heart sank. Rumors could drown hope in a heartbeat. Would they be able to prove everyone wrong? Could they light that spark even in doubt? When challenges arose, would they find unity or fracture apart in fear? As he looked at the enthusiastic faces around him, each ready to push through, he felt a surge of resolve. Let us prove them wrong, he declared with a rising voice, feeling the energy in the room shift again. We're more than what they think. But somewhere deep within him, doubt kept gnawing. What if it wasn't he enough? What if their dreams came crashing down? As he reached for the plans, a commotion echoed from outside, the sound of distant laughter and joy. Ethan's heart fluttered with renewed hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were on the brink of something bigger. And yet, the looming question remained. Would they truly hold on to their dreams when faced with the first test? Each heartbeat echoed the uncertainty as the night deepened around them, leaving them suspended between hope and the unknown. The days turned into a blur of excitement and nerves as the planned block party loomed closer. Ethan found himself wrapped in a cocoon of anticipation, but the shadows of doubt still lingered just outside his peripheral vision. The more they organized, the louder the skepticism seemed to grow. What would happen if the turnout fell flat? Mia's words haunted him, mixing with the whispers from the paper that echoed in town. Despite that, the community spirit felt electric. Kids flew colorful balloons high into the afternoon sky, while adults set up booths overflowing with delicious food. Each smile he encountered fueled a flicker of faith inside him. They hung signs in cheerful colors, announcing the block party to everyone who passed by. Ethan saw parents stopping to read the details, their eyes glinting with curiosity. He felt that maybe, just maybe, they were ready to reclaim their spirit. The day before the event, Mrs. Fields rallied the team at the diner. The place buzzed with chatter as the group tucked into warm pastries and strong coffee. We need a plan for when things get messy, she reminded them, her voice firm but supportive. Somebody is bound to back out at the last minute, or if there'll be unexpected rain. Ethan nodded, the knot in his stomach twisting tighter. We'll roll with it. Whatever happens, we adapt. That is how we'll show everyone we believe in this. They spent hours discussing contingencies, from picnic tables to tents, from sound systems to performers. The energy lifted him as everyone leaned in. Their enthusiasm was infectious, pushing away some of his lingering worries. They were a team. They would stand together, come what may. That evening, Ethan took a walk to clear his head. Each step forward brought a mix of excitement and dread. Suddenly, he felt a gentle tap on his shoulder. It was Mia, her face lighting up with a hopeful grin that chased away some of his uncertainty. Dad said he'll help me learn to juggle for the talent show, she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling like stars. I know it seems silly, but want to make people laugh. That's not silly, Mia. That's perfect, Ethan said, genuinely impressed. Comedy can turn a tough day around. You're going to shine up there. I can feel it. She looked down for a moment, then back at him. What if they don't see how hard we VE worked? What if they only see the mistakes? He crouched down her height, grasping her shoulders firmly. When they see you up there, they'll see your courage. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to show up. That's what they'll remember: the bravery, the laughter, the connection. That matters more than anything. As the sun set, painting the sky in breathtaking hues of orange and red, he felt hope swell in his chest. Maybe they wouldn't be perfect, but they could be real. They could inspire others just by putting themselves out there. The next morning arrived, bright and promising. The sound of laughter echoed in the air as the preparations ramped up. Ethan moved through the crowd with purpose, greeting familiar faces, soaking in the shared enthusiasm. But as the afternoon sun climbed higher, the distant rumble of thunder rolled in, dark clouds looming ominously on the horizon. Ethan's stomach twisted. The weather was not something they could control. Would this bring down everything they had built? He glanced at Mia, catching her excitement. But now, he felt the weight of uncertainty creeping back in. As an ominous chill swept across the park, he wondered if they would face yet another challenge, a test he wasn't sure they could weather. Just then, the announcer's voice rang out, cutting through the tension. "Welcome to our community block party." Would they rise above the storm that threatened to break their dreams in two? The crowd stirred, an anticipatory thrill buzzing through the air. Laughter mixed with music, but as the first raindrops fell softly onto the grass, a pinched silence spread through the gathered families. Ethan's heart pounded. He scanned the sky, the ominous clouds darkening like a warning sign. Just as his thoughts spiraled into panic, Mrs. Field stepped up to the microphone, her voice steady. "Don't let a little rain dampen our spirits. Let us get this party started." Her words were a lifeline, pulling them from the clutches of doubt. Some folks chuckled in response, and the tension began to ease. Mia tugged at his sleeve. "Do you think they'll stay?" Her voice trembled slightly, and he could see the worry in her bright eyes. "Of course. This is a community, remember? They're here for each other, just like we are," Ethan replied, forcing a smile. He had to believe that, too. Sliding a comforting arm around her shoulder, he pointed at a cluster of kids huddling under a colorful canopy that streamed laughter amidst the rain. "Look at them. They're having a blast." Mia took a deep breath, giving him a small nod of encouragement. It didn't take long for more people to join the festivities, most sporting raincoats and big smiles. They opted for the improvised dance area underneath the few spare trees, swaying and twirling as if the rain was a part of the entertainment. With each laugh, Ethan's anxiety lessened. The sound of a drum began pulsing from a nearby booth that displayed handmade crafts, and for a moment, it felt like the skies carried a different weight. The hum of life didn't stop for weather-given challenges. It surged forward, vibrant and alive. Mia spotted a group of children starting a spontaneous juggling competition. Her eyes lit up with determination. "I can juggle too. You'll see." Before Ethan could even respond, she was running off to join them, bringing her hope to life. Ethan's heart swelled. She was fearless, embodying everything they both had talked about the night before. As Mia juggled the balls, laughter erupted. Families circled around, enjoying the moment despite the rain. He realized that here, in this make-do atmosphere, they were rewriting what community meant. But just as the vibe peaked, the announcer's voice crackled through the speakers once again. "And now, we're thrilled to have a surprise guest. Please welcome." A flash of lightning illuminated the sky, followed by an eager clap of thunder. All eyes turned towards the stage, the crowd holding its breath in anticipation. But instead of the expected entertainer, a figure emerged, an unfamiliar man dressed in a sleek raincoat. "Hello, everyone," he called out, his voice strong and resonant, grabbing everyone's attention despite the weather. "I'm here to share something special." The crowd leaned in, curiosity dancing through the air like the droplets around them. Ethan's heart raced as he exchanged glances with Mia, who had just finished her juggling act and appeared equally intrigued. Who was this man? What could he possibly want to share on such a day? "Today, I want to make a promise to reinvest in our community," he said, pointing toward the colorful booths. "Let us make this block party an annual event." Cheers erupted, but Ethan noticed Mia's eyes flicker with confusion. She whispered, "What is he talking about, Dad?" Before he could respond, the man continued, "And I have something even more exciting. I'm opening a youth center right here, a place for kids to explore, learn, and build their dreams." Ethan felt the collective joy rising, taking shape, ready to burst out of everyone surrounding him. But as he gazed at Mia's face, a new concern tugged at him. What did this mean for their efforts? Was the man here to guide them or overshadow the heart they had poured into this event? The atmosphere crackled with excitement and uncertainty. What would this decision entail for their community? As the first hearty drops turned into steady rain, masking the whispered questions, Ethan saw the flickers of hope ignite in Mia's eyes again. Could it really happen? She asked, her voice barely above the drumming rain. Ethan took her hand, ready to face whatever came next. If today proves anything, it's that anything is possible. What other surprises awaited them that day? And would they be ready to embrace them all? The rain continued to pour, a steady rhythm contrasting with the joyful chaos around them. Families seemed undeterred as they rushed to join the impromptu party. Vibrant umbrellas transformed the dull gray landscape into a colorful mosaic. Laughter rang out louder than the thunder, echoing off the nearby buildings, and a sense of togetherness began to wash over Ethan. But amid the excitement, Ethan's heart was racing. The man in the raincoat stood at the makeshift stage, his demeanor radiating confidence. I want this center to be a place where joy and imagination can thrive. The crowd cheered again, but Ethan felt a knot in his stomach. He couldn't shake the feeling that this might shift the dynamics of their community's spirit. Mia bounced on her toes, her eyes sparkling. "Dad, can we go check it out?" she asked, her enthusiasm infectious. He hesitated, glancing up at the stage and back down at her. The answer was clear. The excitement in her voice outweighed his reservations. "Sure, let us do it together," he said, and they joined the throng of people moving closer to the stage. As they maneuvered through the small crowd, the man continued speaking, his passion mounting. "Imagine a place where your children can explore art, technology, and sports. A home for after-school programs, summer camps, and more." The loud applause that followed felt like a wave, and Ethan found himself caught in its swell, trying to ride out his skepticism. Mia tugged at his hand, tugging him toward a booth where kids animatedly made crafts with an older volunteer. "Look, Dad, can we make something? I want to create a banner for the center." "Of course," Ethan replied, sensing the community's spirit fanning Mia's hopes. He watched her dive into the activity, her little hands busy coloring a small piece of fabric with bright pastels. As the rain continued to drench their clothes, Ethan couldn't help but feel the warmth that radiated from Mia. Her laughter was pure, unfazed by the wet weather or her father's unease. The lady organizing the booth handed him a brush. "You should join her. It's more fun that way," she urged, beaming with kindness. After a moment's hesitation, Ethan picked up a brush and began to paint alongside Mia, feeling the tension lift with each bright stroke. Smiling at her concentration, he remembered why they had organized this block party in the first place: their love of community, the desire for connection, and the chance to leave a mark. But just as they finished their small masterpiece, the skies darkened again. With an ominous rumble, a crack of lightning illuminated the crowd, drawing gasps and nervous laughter from those around them. Ethan shielded Mia instinctively, wrapping his arms protectively around her. "Stay close," he instructed, his heart pounding again, not just from fear, but also from the unpredictability of the moment. All around, families began to scatter. Some retreated to their cars, others rushed to secure their belongings. But Mia remained rooted in place, her eyes glued to the man in the raincoat. "I'm not afraid," she proclaimed, lifting her chin defiantly. "I want to stay and see what he says next." Ethan felt a rush of pride. "Okay then," he said, "let us listen. Together." The man on stage held his ground, seemingly unfazed by the growing storm. "I promise you all this center will bring us closer. We will find ways to make it happen, rain or shine." As the thunder rolled in the distance, excitement simmered in the air, pregnant with the possibility of transformation. The question lingered: what would this center truly mean for them? Then, as if the universe held its breath, the ground rumbled again. Ethan's phone buzzed in his pocket, but he ignored it, captivated by the sight before him. What had they begun here, together under the rain? But when Ethan finally checked the message that had tugged at his attention, his heart dropped. It was a notification about a new business venture tied to the man on stage. A venture with very deep implications for their block party and for their community. Dad, what does it mean? Mia fretted, anticipation dancing in her eyes. Ethan's pulse quickened, a mixture of excitement and dread washing over him. I'm not sure, sweetheart, but we need to find out what truth was lurking within those rain-splattered messages. And was their community really ready to leap toward change? Ethan felt the weight of that message push against his chest. His heart raced as the rain beat down like a drum, drowning out the festive music that surrounded them. Mia looked up, her innocent expression a jarring contrast to the turmoil he felt inside. Dad, are you okay? She asked, her small hand gently squeezing his arm. He shook his head, stealing a glance at the man on stage who continued to galvanize the crowd with visions of what the community center could be. Laughter and cheers mixed with the rumbling thunder. But here, with Mia, time stood still as the words on his phone echoed in his mind. This was more than just a center. It represented change, unwanted or unexpected, but change nonetheless. Ethan forced a smile for Mia. Yeah, I'm okay. Just a lot to think about. Can we still make a banner? She beamed, the rain showering her like a gentle reminder of the joy they had found, tucked away from serious thoughts. He nodded slowly, returning his focus to the brightly painted fabric before them. Absolutely, let us finish that up. As they worked side by side, a burst of laughter caught Ethan's attention. He looked toward the stage where the man had grabbed a child's hand, inviting him up to join him. The crowd erupted with applause, and cheers filled the damp air. The man spoke again, his voice booming over the rain. I need volunteers to help turn this dream into reality. We can't do it without all of you. Ethan hesitated, his gut twisted. Had he misjudged this man's intentions? Could he truly be the catalyst for something so monumental? What did the message on his phone reveal about the nature of this venture? Dad, let's go up there, Mia pleaded, jumping with excitement. Something about her enthusiasm turned the knot in Ethan's stomach into a flicker of hope. You want to? Yeah, I want to help. Okay, then, he said, guiding her through the crowd, hand in hand, feeling the warmth of her determination wrap around him like the bright colors in their shared creation. The two approached the stage, where families were gathering, emboldened by the energy in the air. As they neared, the man made eye contact with Mia, his expression softening. Well, what have we here? He asked, kneeling in front of her. What is your name, little one? Mia. I want to help make the center a really fun place. She held up their banner, now splashed with vivid colors. A fantastic start. The man smiled and looked up at Ethan. You must be proud of such an imaginative daughter. Ethan chuckled, though the compliment felt tinged with something deeper, a voice inside still hesitant. Very yes. But a clap of thunder interjected his thought, causing a small gasp from the surrounding crowd. The man's gaze remained steady as he leaned closer. What do you think, Mia? Can we turn this rainy day into something unforgettable? Yes, she shouted, eyes gleaming with conviction. But sir, Ethan interjected, his voice shaking slightly. What does this mean for our community? There are plans behind your project we aren't aware of. The message I got before he could finish, a young voice piped up. A boy not much older than Mia stepped forward, his own banner grasped tightly in his hands. Are we going to save this place from being boring? The man turned, laughing. Exactly. Together, we can make it the brightest space for everyone. But what lay beneath the cheerful facade? Why had Ethan received that message of warning? Caught up in a moment, he took a deep breath, sensing that things were shifting. We just want to understand, he said, searching the man's eyes for answers. Understanding is the first step, my friend. Let us start there. Ethan's heart raced again, but for a different reason now. Could they really unravel whatever secrets were intertwined in this new venture? And could Mia's unrelenting optimism guide them forward? As the crowd erupted with applause once more, an unexpected bond formed in that tiny space. The real question loomed, what choices lay ahead? And would the decisions they made shape their community or tear it apart? With the rain continuing to pour, Ethan felt the weight of possibilities, and uncertainty hung thick in the air. What would happen next as they dug deeper into the unexpected truths waiting to be uncovered? Ethan stood at the head of the gathering, his heart pounding furiously while rain continued to cascade from the heavens. The vibrant colors of the banner he created with Mia felt like a grounding anchor in the chaos surrounding them. This was the moment of truth. The man on stage exuded charm and warmth, but Ethan could sense the shadows lurking behind that smile. "Let's talk about our dreams for the future," the man said, his voice echoing through the rain-soaked park. "I promise this youth center will foster creativity and community spirit like you've never seen." Gasps of excitement rippled through the crowd, and laughter bubbled up, but Ethan remained unerringly aware of the weight of the message he received. It felt like a silent scream against the backdrop of hope. Was this man's offer genuine, or was there an undercurrent he couldn't see? "Dad, let us go," Mia urged, her eyes sparkling like the raindrops that clung to her cheeks. "All right, but remember, we must stay cautious," Ethan replied, gripping her hand tightly. They stepped forward together, willing to digest every word, every promise. When they reached the stage, the man looked from Ethan to Mia, a knowing glimmer in his eyes. "And what do we have here?" he asked, kneeling to meet Mia at eye level. "You got quite the artistic touch. I want to help," Mia said, raising their colorful banner high, her spirit radiant even amidst the rain. "Absolutely," the man responded, enthusiasm bubbling over. His gaze shifted to Ethan. "And you must be her father, the young spark behind the playground idea?" "That's right," Ethan said cautiously. "But with your plans, we need to understand more about how this affects our community." The man's demeanor changed, softening for a moment as he nodded. "Let us face it, change can be difficult. But I'm not here to take away what you built. I want to come alongside you, to amplify the voice of this town." Behind the man, families began to murmur in agreement, their faces alive with curiosity. Ethan felt the tension in the air shift again. Hope battled with skepticism in a visible way. "Can we transform what we have into something incredible?" The man continued, his voice slicing through their uncertainties. "Before you say yes, remember, this will take hard work, commitment, and collaboration, a true reflection of who you all are." Mia tugged at him. "Dad, can we trust him?" Ethan took a moment, searching for the right words. He could see the doubt creeping into her expression, but there was something undeniable about the spirit of the crowd. "We have to give him a chance, Mia," he finally said, "but we'll watch closely." One of the elderly women in the crowd stood up, trembling yet determined. "What if we lose our own vision? We've fought so hard to bring the playground to life." Her voice cut through, evoking nods and murmurs of agreement. Silence enveloped the group for a heartbeat. Ethan turned back to see the man from the stage, lifting his hands, ready to respond. "This isn't about overshadowing your dreams. This is about merging visions. Let us create a place that not only builds a playground, but fosters our stories, art, and connection. Let us weave our dreams into a unified tapestry." Ethan saw flames of belief igniting again. Maybe there was a way to weave their dreams together, something bigger than one child's wish. He took a deep breath, his heart racing as he spoke. "If we can join forces, truly combine our initiatives, then let us work together. But we need the community to be involved every step of the way." Inspired, voices began to rise one by one. "We'll hold you accountable." Another shout rang out, stronger than rain. Encouragement spread like wildfire, engulfing them in a wave of connection. The tentacles of hope wrapped around them tightly, reassuring them that they wouldn't stand alone. That's the spirit. The man cheered, looking pleased. "Let us build a foundation of trust that will anchor us through any storm." As excitement pulsed through the crowd, Ethan turned to Mia, pulling her close. "You see, this is the power of togetherness. This project is ours. It's not about losing control. It's about rising as one community." Mia's face lit up like the sun breaking through clouds. "We can do it, Dad. We can make it amazing." "Absolutely," Ethan affirmed, feeling the weight of fear begin to lift. They were on the edge of something wondrous. And as the final raindrops fell, applause filled the air, echoing through the park like a battle cry of unity and resilience. He knew there would be challenges ahead. There would be moments of doubt and hesitation. But the beauty of it was shining bright, like a beacon cutting through darkness. He felt the spark of change ignite in him, mingling with the hope surrounding them all as the day wore on. Laughter and joy flooded back into their space, swirling amidst the cries of children and chatting families. This was his community rising to meet them. Together, they could transform their past pains into a future radiant with possibility. And just like that, with the taste of rain on his lips and joy in their hearts, Ethan realized they wouldn't merely build a playground. They were crafting a legacy, a newfound strength that would carry them through the storm, lighting the way toward a brighter tomorrow. Please, before you go, make sure you subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss out on more inspiring stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to help with the algorithm. I want to hear your reactions and feelings about this beautiful ending. So comment below. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this amazing transformation. True fans understand the importance of supporting the channel. Through these actions, let us keep this positive momentum going.